Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. This is the CZ457 stainless synthetic. Now, I've reviewed most of the CZ457 range in 2 rimfire and 17 HMR. This is one of the last to go, and it's actually one I'm rather liking, so please stick with me, watch the full review. And I'll add a playlist at the end so you can see all the other CZ457s in comparison. Right, well, you've seen me out using it. I had a great amount of fun shooting this rifle. I do always love 2 rimfire, and I do love CZ457s. I have reviewed most of the variants of it. I own one of them myself, the LRP, but well, there are some I like more than others, but this is the one of the ones I do like a lot. So this is the stainless camo synthetic. I really like the camo stock. I really like the contrast of the colours between the black and the silver, or the silver grey, and then the camo stock. And when I was looking at some of the footage I was editing earlier, and the backgrounds against the sort of the hedge line and the barbed wire fence, everything like that, I like the way it just kind of fits in, and it sort of, yes, it doesn't disappear, but I don't know, I just like that combination of the looks on it. I've covered the 457 in massive detail in terms of how it works, but this is the same in most respects to that. I can't show you on YouTube because it'll demonetize me, but if you take the action out of the stock, there are 2 T25 Torx bolts underneath, and then there are 2 bolts on the front of the action. The barrels are removable and interchangeable, so you can have this rifle in 22LR, 17 HMR, 22 WMR. This one's got the slim profile 20-inch 22LR barrel. Now I can't yet find out whether it's available in a 16-inch barrel or whether it's available in a 17 HMR. I must admit, if it was a 16-inch 17 HMR, I don't think I'd be sending it back, because my 17 HMR is a bit old, it's a bit bashed up, and maybe I fancy a new one. 5-round magazine we've looked at multiple occasions. They just slot in, load in the top, that's no problem at all. Bolt operation with a safety catch on the front there, 2 positions, forward fire, rear for safe. It doesn't lock the bolt handle, but it's not a huge deal. We've got the left side bolt release catch here, bolt comes out easily. We've got 2 extractor claws and a manual injector, so you can see in the video you get ejection exactly as much as you sort of operate the bolt. So if you just pop it out like that, flips out, and if you're really fast and hard on the bolt, pings it out further. I like the stock in terms of its shape and its profile. We're going to measure it in a second, but there's actually quite a lot of raised profile here on the grip, and the grip's quite a tight radius on it, and it does give you a good feel for the rifle. It's not a small stock. Some rimfires, especially American ones, tend to feel very little as a gun. This one doesn't feel little as a gun. There's plenty of meat to get hold of without your fingers touching the barrel. The barrel is fully free floating. You can see in one of the little video clips, you know, even on the bipod, it's not talking, it's not actually wanting to touch the barrel and cause you harmonic problems. Similarly, I put it in the clamp on the tripod sticks works perfectly, and these raised panels just add that little bit more to it. As for the long term of the finish, I can't quote on that 100%. The colour on the stock does appear to be a dipped finish because it's matched completely on the sling studs on the underside. You've got two here, so you've got bipod and a sling. You've got another one at the back for the sling. Scope mounting is with an 11mm dovetail. I've just taken it apart basically because I'm going to be doing some of the measurements on it, so I wanted it out of that. Now, one thing I will say about this one is the triggers on CZ457s are adjustable, and they're easily adjustable as well. But of course, they're all prone to human setup, little differences. And this one, in fairness, if you look really carefully on the video, you can see the trigger creeping ever so slightly before it goes off. Having said that, and listen to this carefully, my 457 LRP, which must be 3 and a bit years old now, was exactly the same. It was perfect for the first 50 rounds out of the box. The next 50 rounds it started to wear in a little bit, and then it stayed stable. So I took it apart, I tweaked the trigger, which is not difficult to do. I can't do it on YouTube obviously, and it worked perfectly, and it's maintained that ever since. So I like the fact CZ, you know, they are still gunsmiths. They're not just box shifters and marketeers. They make a gun that will last a lifetime. And they've probably got the record for the gun that we've most seen. So the CZ452 is a gun many of us have seen, owned, used, been introduced to shooting with. So it's I certainly think this has got every hallmark of an improved modern version of that. And I hope this one lasts for decades as well. Let's just weigh the trigger pull now. Get this ready. Do it in grams first. Steady, increasing pressure, and we've got 1,347 grams. I'm just going to do it one more time, see if we can repeat something like that. 1,266, and third time lucky, 1,323, and that comes in at £2, 14.7 ounces. Scope on top is an 11mm dovetail, no issues putting scope mounts on there. Again, you might want to just move things around a little bit because a lot of the modern scopes have got 100mm of eye relief, and I did find myself kind of craning my neck back a little bit because it was a teeny bit too long. But you can put reach forward mounts on, or you can get a scope with a 90mm eye relief on it. The trigger guard's polymer, that's no issue, and funnily enough I've been using this rifle today alongside a very heavy chassis rifle in a large caliber, which was utterly horrible to use because it's -3 outside today, so if you forgot your gloves on it you were stuck to it, whereas this, you know, maintains a nice feel to it, and of course being polymer it doesn't draw all the heat out of your hands. So I've taken all the accessories off, I'm going to weigh it now, I'll tell you what the weights are. In good old grams, it's 2,397 grams. In freedom units, as my American viewers like to call them, it is £6, 4.5 ounces. So, and they will also like me to call it a CZ457 as well. But you know, I can be multicultural, make sure I get all the linguistic nuances in there. But this rifle is a joy to shoot. I've shot it far too much today, to be quite honest. So much so, it's quite late at night now while I'm trying to get this video done. I'll just give you some of the stats on the overall size of it. Overall length with this 20-inch barrel unit is 38.5 inches, freedom units there, and that is 977 millimeters. Length of pull, good. Length of pull is exactly 14 inches, which is 356 millimeters. And that is what makes this rifle have quite a sort of grown-up ergonomic to it. Again, it doesn't feel like this teeny tiny little toy, but it is light and it's so easy to handle. It's totally ambidextrous, so you can shoot it from the off shoulder if that suits you. I don't think there's a left one available yet, but who knows, that may change in the future. As you'll see on the video, screw cut 1/2 inch for moderator. I put a sack moderator on, it's 1/2 inch 20 screw cut, easy to put that on. And I use a selection of ammunition, both subsonic and supersonic high velocity ammunition. So I shoulder groups on paper at 50 metres. It shoots tiny little groups. You can judge that by the little bullet holes on the paper. And I also shot some steel a bit faster, a bit more fun from different positions at 100 metres. I also used a sound meter with it too, to give you a little bit of a bit more information on what the different types of ammunition do in terms of the speed relative to what sound it is. And obviously the high velocity goes supersonic, you've got a lot more noise from it, and the subsonic, especially the RWS, is very, very quiet. I will say, I think there might have been a mistake with the RWS R50 reading, because that came out extraordinarily low, but there was a helicopter buzzing around locally, and I'm not sure if that might have interfered and interrupted with that a little bit. So summing up the 457 stainless camo synthetic, well, what's not to like? It's practical, it's accurate, it's not too expensive. I'll put some links in the description so you can get more details on it. Yes, in an ideal world, probably I'd go for a 16-inch barrel, either in the 22LR, or if you could get it in a 17 HMR. But it's got the interchangeable barrel system, so you've not got a huge issue with that. I like the looks of it, I like the way it handles, I like the grip, and I just think it's a really nice gun. And if I didn't have a 457 LRP, I think I'd buy this. But it's very important to remind you all again, I've reviewed all of these rifles. Fundamentally, none particularly are more accurate than the rest. The LRP does have a little bit more because it's got the matched chamber, as does the chassis version. But in terms of handling and ergonomics, that's what you have to choose with your 457 rifle. What do you want it to look like? How do you want it to handle? Do you want a short gun to use in the vehicle? Do you want a longer gun you're only ever going to use for precision rifle events? You know, it's entirely up to you. And the fundamentals of the 457 and its total modularity are one of the things I love about it, because yeah, although in a way it's hard to buy one, because you think, well, I could have that one, I could have that barrel, and I want that one with that barrel, and there we go. But anyway, to cut a long story short, I want that in a 17 HMR with a 16-inch barrel, and I would put a Picatinny rail on it as well. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching that review. Please like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell, and make sure you keep track of my regular uploads. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.